Evening, Screwtooth. I've been making a first-person survival horror game in RPG Maker, and today I want to go through the process of making a spooky apartment and loads of 3D objects that are going to go in there. You'll see up in the corner the results of what I've done today. I'm recording this before actually doing the actual work. I have a couple of ideas about things I want to try out today. Two ideas I've got is, one is to make like a wheelchair that's sort of at an angle, tilted up against the wall. I'm going to cut ahead now to jumping into Photoshop, where I'll be cutting out the objects. And then from there I'll go into RPG Maker and I'll set everything up and we'll carry on. For the first part of this, I'm going to be playing this at 8 times speed back because this actually took me about an hour or so to do all of this on Photoshop. But what you can see is I have these drawings, I've got the objects there, and I'm basically cutting and pasting them into Photoshop here. It's a GIMP, which, by the way, I'm not sure if that's how you're meant to say it, but I've been saying GIMP because I don't want to say that word without initializing it, just in case, I don't know, YouTube has some weird thing about that word because it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it? But yeah, so this is going to be the wallpaper for the apartment room that I'm doing here. I've also done, you can see there, a few other objects, but we start off with this, colorizing them all by layers. Moving on next, we just paste it into the tile set here, and then layer those up to try and make them line up as much as possible. And those are going to be the walls for the apartment. Next, I'm going to do these objects. These are like light bulbs that will be hanging from the ceiling. Again, separating each part into different layers and colorizing that, and creating another layer to give it a little bit of an opaque highlight there, just to make it look a bit more 3D. And then another light here with like a lampshade on it. This one we had a tiny bit of color to it, a little bit of a blue tinge in like a higher layer here, just a very small amount. And again, these are going to be light sources which are hanging from the ceiling. Next, we have the wheelchair. So I'll start off by going all the way around, cutting out all the shape of it, and then what we'll do is cut out the wheel itself and make that another layer. This one was a little bit more sort of meticulous because there's all these little details here. So my idea here is to have this object sort of sitting at an angle, propped against a wall, and then we colorize the wheel to make it look more sort of like metallic, and then we have highlights and stuff as I've done with all the other objects. Again, every horror game's got to have some creepy wheelchairs. We move on now to Home Sweet Home. This little like sort of tapestry embroidery sort of thing. Again, colorize, working with kinds of like different textures. More layers with the opacity, that little highlight on there. So you see I'm using the whole bottom row here of the character sheet. So all of these objects actually only go onto one image file. So file size wise, and when it comes to loading and lag and that kind of stuff, I think this is actually not going to affect, like, you know, including this much art is not actually going to be a detriment. We have this sort of, I've made it look like blood splattered wardrobe thing, colorize the handles to yellow, a little bit of a shadow work to make the 3D effect look a little bit better. Next object, which will be this clock. Clock went all the way around again. Cut out the object. Remove the transparency. I think I ran it twice there because I made a mistake. Colorize it to brown, and then we take the face of the clock and then make that sort of a grey-white colour. And again, as I did with the other jobs, I've sort of gone for this, like, you know, like that sort of shimmer, sort of looks like a reflection of light on the parts that might be made out of glass. So this is the bed. So the way I'm going to do this is like separate this into two objects. So we've got the top of the bed, the mattress, and then the sort of headboard part of it. Like sort of like mouldy texture that I added by using a like weird paintbrush and then erasing lots of it, doing a yellowy colour to make it look really dirty and like gross. And then here's the headboard, or like the footboard of the bed, which will be a second object. Again, cutting that out, transparency, little texturizing of details, and then we just polish it up a tiny bit, and then import that back to the character sheet. I'm doing quite a lot of objects today. This one is a coat rack. My idea with this one would be that it sort of like uses something similar to the tree type objects that I've done before, where it would be what's called an 8-cross, which is basically it's an intersection of like a 2D image that's like propped up, sort of like like a paper like standout type thing. This is a rug, that will go on the floor in the apartment area. Again, colorize it to be sort of an orangey because it's meant to be kind of like a lion type thing. It doesn't look like a lion, but and then make it look gross and dirty. And then these little console device type things. Again, I think these are great for like just general scenery. They're quite easy to draw and colorize, in my opinion. But I like how they add to the scene. Sort of makes it reminds you that this is not like a nice place to live. Well, I mean, I'm not sure it isn't anyway, but something about these like utilitarian, like I don't know, brutalist architecture, I guess, would be the way to describe it. And then so we take that and then back into the character sheet for RPG Maker. And then we have this one, which is sort of a TV, like a CRT TV looking thing. Colorized so brown for like a woody texture. Screen darkened, and then these little like highlights again for like reflections of like in the glass. And then some more texture for the woody areas. And one last piece here, which is this sort of like bar shelf type thing, which I want to include. Just nothing too special there. It's just gonna sort of hover and be like a sort of table type thing. I basically thought, what kind of things might you find in an apartment that's been abandoned for a while? And I realised like it would be like the bones left over of the furniture, just whatever's left behind. If you're enjoying this, please like, comment, subscribe, give me any kind of feedback. It will really help out. And yeah, thank you. Okay, so here we are in RPG Maker. So the first thing I've done is I've replaced all the tiles and the walls with the floor texture and the wallpaper texture that I've done. I've also added in a lot of the objects already, just so I can show you guys where I'm at before I start doing any of the more complicated objects. So the ones I've put in so far are basically, they're all like wall coverings and some of the light fixtures and some things on the floor. But also this stuff was the easier stuff to add in. I know it's a bit too dark at the moment. I need to add in some more light sources. We'll get to that in a minute. But here you go. You can see I've done the floor, the consoles on the walls, the wardrobe thing, the lights hanging. Yep. So that's a lot of the objects been added in already. Okay, back in RPG Maker again. So here we go. We're going to start off by first I'm going to copy in this bench object that I made in the lobby scene. I haven't shown that yet, but on the channel, but that's something I did off camera. I'm going to use that as the building blocks to make the bed object, just because I believe it's going to be pretty similar. So I'm going to use the surface here is going to be the mattress, which has a bit of an elevation. This is all done through the note tags to alter the elevation, the shape of the object. And there we go. Yep, so with the bed, you can see the footrest part of it is way too small, so I need to alter the size of that. That's done through the scale tag on the thing, on the in the event, it's scale, and then in brackets we changed the decimal point there to make it a little bit bigger. Next object I'm going to be working on here is the shelf on the wall. Similar thing there, basically just using the surface, which is it's just a flat object with a slight elevation, which basically just creates that sort of bar table type thing there. And then we add in these little extra things just for the collision, which is probably not the best way to do it. Again, that's something I'm going to have to work on in a bit. But I'm quite happy with the way it looks at the moment, so I'll move on to the next object in a second, which is going to be the wheelchair. And the way that I'm going to do that is basically I'm going to copy it over this sort of, just a little run backwards and forwards first, a little see where we're at. Again, sorry about my rambling commentary here, because I'm just getting used to this YouTubing thing. But there we go. So with the note tags for the event, I've created this wheelchair, and it's set at an angle diagonally. I'm also going to copy in a few more sources of light and add on a few lamp tags, which will illuminate a lot more of the objects. And here we go. This is going to be like the final playthrough to have a little look at what we've made today. So we have the shelf, the wheelchair, that painting at the back. We'll closer look at the wallpaper texture on the floor. We have the lamps hanging from the ceiling, of course. This coat rack type thing. Tapestry with the home sweet home. And then moving into the back half of this abandoned apartment, we have the bed with its footboard, little bench at the end, table, the wardrobe, and the consoles, little screens, and of course the rug. Also added in some more light sources, as I mentioned. I'm just little look around and see what I think will be the best angle. Just to get one last look around at what we've done today. Yeah, I think this is pretty decent progress for one day's work again. Thank you. If you've enjoyed the video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will have more for you soon. I'm also doing obviously music uploads, all that kind of stuff. This channel is not really, I'm not sure what kind of niche they call it on YouTube, but yeah, I'd like to think I've got multiple niches essentially. It's going to be pretty much this. It's music or this. That's the way I would narrow it down. But hopefully, like, a lot of you guys will be interested in both things, so I won't be annoying too many people with if you're subscribing for RPG Maker content and seeing, chiptune remixes or vice versa. But yeah, thank you very much.